Hi, air signs. How are you today? I apologize. It has taken me so long to get your guys' reading out, but I think if you're all feeling a lot of the shifts and the crazy things going on right now, time is just sort of an illusion. I mean, we've said that, but March seemed like a decade, and April is like this first week just flew by like a day. So, again, my apologies. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So, if you are not new, I apologize because I'm going to give the same repetitive spiel that I always give on every video, but I want to do that just in case there is somebody new, just to give them the lay of the land, so to speak, of how we do this. So, we are obviously in April. I call this a forecast, but what I do on this YouTube portion of the video is I pull a spread, kind of tap into the collective energy of, again, general reading. So I might tap into your energy this time, I may not. But if it's resonating, then I will pull additional cards over on Vimeo on the extended version, and that's $7.77. The link for that is down below. Those readings typically run about another 20 minutes on top of the content that's here on YouTube, just to give you guys an idea of what happens there. Also, over on Vimeo, I will look much more in depth into some of the issues that come out in this spread. I will pull oracle cards, guidance, give some insight into healing, messages from spirit, whatever just comes out. You guys know the types of cards. I have all, if shadows come out, if romance comes out, whatever it is, I have the decks to tap into that theme. And that's one of the reasons, in addition to spirit telling me that, urging me that I had to start charging something versus giving away all my services for free. It's an even energy exchange to keep the energy flowing in alignment, with the laws of the universe. And it also, I do spend a lot of money to keep my business going. I actually have lost money the last 2 years just starting up, spending money on Reiki trainings, traveling, the extensive amount of tarot cards that I buy, crystals, those types of things. That those cost a lot of money. I've spent money on Vimeo, advertising for my business, donating my services, things of that nature. So it does help me recoup some of that time and that energy. So anyway, I appreciate it. And again, it's a general reading, so take what resonates, toss the rest. If this does not resonate for you, you might want to check your moon, your rising, other aspects of your natal chart. There's a free link down below that you can do that. It's actually very interesting because you might find, well, the air sign makes no sense, but the water sign does, because you might have a lot of water in your chart. All right, so we're going to get started now. Just guys, listen, masters, what's going on right now for the air sign collective that I'm going to tap into right now? What messages do you have for air signs? Okay, let's be there. All right. That's interesting. I shuffled extensively. I even, when I do a reading from the prior one, I'll actually will insert the cards in specifically in different areas of the deck so that we don't get the same ones again. But that's, if you guys watch the I think it's the fire that I just did, got a lot of the same cards coming out. All right. Let's see what this says here. So this is the Angel Tarot. If you've not watched the other videos that I recorded for this month, I chose this deck just because the energy is much more gentle than some of the other traditional tarot decks that I have. It's the first deck that I learned with, that I trained with, and what's really beautiful about it is that it actually contains explanations on the bottom, which, I know the traditional tarot, I know those meanings, and so I don't really need that, and I'm an intuitive reader anyway. I look at the artwork, which is why I love to have all these different decks here. But what's perfect is a lot of times these explanations have completely different meanings outside of the way I would interpret them, but in this context, it feels right. So just as an aside there. And then the extended, I'm going to use the Star Tarot, so if you're a fan of that, at least that's what I'm planning, unless I'm called to do something else. All right. So this is a little bit odd because I usually don't read it, but we got this for the reverse, so I'm gonna have to read it that way. I feel like things were either out of balance in a relationship. It could have been a work situation, but I'm picking up more on romantic based upon the outcome cards that are coming. But I think we do have a couple of different situations that I'm tapping into here. The reason I talk about something being out of balance, or something just, we have justice. And in this deck, it's interesting because justice, I think, is typically an 11, I believe. And in this deck, it's an 8. For some reason, it's swapped with strength, which is a little bit weird. But 8, as you guys know, is sort of the number. It has to do with abundance. It also has to do with, infinity and a romantic connection. I feel like I'm getting kind of some heavy energy. Like it may have been a difficult decision that had to be made. It could be because there's distance in a romantic connection, and possibly with the situation with the pandemic, perhaps you've had to take a break, or you're not seeing each other as much, or somebody's had to take a stand with this happening, where you wanted to keep this as sort of like a teamwork. We're going to stay, in our dynamic, right? But it's not, I feel like maybe too, this could be a new relationship with the 8 and with the balance, something starting to come into fruition, but then it didn't quite take off the ground. And the reason I'm saying that is the Ace of Pentacles is the man, it's like the starting energy, but it's the blocking the teamwork. So somebody's not wanting, somebody's either not admitting the truth, they're not balanced, or they've kind of said that, put up a situation maybe that you're feeling is not fair. But I feel like they're either, I feel like I'm picking up on it. It's something to do with all the stuff that's going on in the world. So that could be their job. Maybe their job is in an industry where they're around, an essential service, and they're around a lot of people, and they're just taking this to the extreme, like overly, like I'm not going to be around anybody. I'm self-isolating. I'm not going to risk health here. And it's interesting because I was just making that comment about the cards having these messages that don't always make sense as far as what you would traditionally read the cards. But the Lover's card is in reverse. So obviously if it's in reverse, it's not coming to fruition. It's stuck. It's, somebody's taking a step back, right? And that the fact too that the Ace of Earth, the new beginning, the whole overflow of abundance and everything happening, people working together, that's the blocking energy. And then we have this in reverse, and it says intimate relationships, carefully weigh your decisions, good health. It's very interesting to me that this card, I've not associated the Lovers with health before, which is another reason why, again, I'm picking up on something to do with this pandemic. And it talks about carefully weighing your decisions, and justice is here as well, fair and just decisions. So I think maybe what this is calling on you, or the person you're dealing with, if you're a cross watcher, you can take it however it resonates, but to maybe take a step back, I'm getting, from the ego, to say, okay, this person, they don't want to see me, and they don't really care, and it's like they do care, and maybe there's been some sort of a rift, because somebody has taken a step back from the relationship and saying, I'm pulling back, I'm making this decision to not move forward at this time, to either not move forward, or maybe somebody wanted the other partner to move in, or vice versa, because of the pandemic. It's like, okay, if we're in the same household, there's no risk of, or less, we're not quote separated if there's a stay-at-home order or something like that. And maybe somebody wasn't afraid to make that decision, or was too afraid to make that decision, or just wasn't ready. and that you feel like you or they feel like there's been this injustice that's taken place. But what I'm getting is that this does have long-term potential. There's just a rift in the road right now. We've got the Three of Wands up here. It talks about abundance, things looking good, having patience, okay, making long-term plans. So whatever this is, that there's this injustice in this situation happening right now. And again, it could be a job situation that's not maybe moving forward, but with the, because we have the Pentacles here, but I'm getting it more of with the Lovers, that it's an intimate relationship, okay? It has something to do with that and the cards that are coming afterwards. But this is, there's long-term plans that can be made. It's just this right now, somebody's made a decision that they feel is best in these circumstances and the other partner doesn't agree. So what I see happening going forward is that somebody, I keep getting that somebody's in their ego, they're hurt. They're going to have to get over that. It's going to take some time, but there is a fresh start. We've got the Ace of Swords here, which is a difficult new beginning, but it's also, seeing the truth of a situation. So I think somebody finally maybe having that epiphany of realizing, okay, this doesn't mean the end. This doesn't mean they don't care. This, they're doing what they think is right, what they think is just in these circumstances. And going forward, there is the potential here for a new beginning because we've got the Fool with the Ace, as the action forward. The Knight of Cups is the falling in love, a wedding card, balancing emotions. I feel like once whatever this is, and I'm not getting, because in the front here, we don't have the need to balance emotions here. I've got it that there was something solid developing or already in place, and somebody just wanted it to go to the next level, or it was about to start. It's at the beginning, and it's like, all right, this pandemic happened. We're going to take a step back because of this. Again, it could be due to somebody's career if they're in the health fields, something like that, or that person just, they weren't ready to make that commitment, or they didn't want to take that next step just on account of there being a pandemic. It's like, let's make this decision for the right reason when we're both ready, not because of these outside circumstances. But again, I'm getting that both partners do want to maybe make long-term plans, but just not feeling forced to do so. And I'm getting that this is causing a challenge or rift in the relationship, but there is a fresh start coming. And I think once this will, I think there is a need a little bit to because of, anytime there's an emotional rift in a relationship, both partners do need to assess and work out those feelings and balance their emotions. And once they do that, though, and once this, most likely, what else other major world event is going on right now? The pandemic, most likely. Once this ends, and I think there's a fresh start here. There's falling in love, wedding proposals, things progressing, because we have here long-term plans as the goal that both partners want. The three, to me, we've got three here twice. We've got two aces. We've got the Fool. And again, in this deck, I would not equate the Knight of Cups ever to a wedding proposal. It's an offer of love, yes, but knights usually, I always call, say you want the king, you don't want the knight. But it's interesting, in this deck, it talks about a proposal. It talks about, we've also got the Eight of Wands. Eight of Fire, events moving in a fast pace, delays are over. Boom, 10 of Cups is the outcome here. A contented, rewarding family life, emotional, material needs are met, trustworthy relationships. So I think this has the potential for a long-term outcome. But right now, somebody's feeling left out in the cold with the Five of Pentacles. And perhaps they're stressed if they're self-employed, because we've got uncertain self-employment. There could be stressors around that, where they're, trying to build business in other ways, in unique ways, given the circumstances in the world right now. And I think there's some solitude that one of these partners needs to have right now, because we've got the Hermit and the Hierophant, which are both, kind of like solitude, connecting to spirit, just kind of reassessing where their life is. But ultimately, we've got the Two of Cups, the Two of Water, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. Are you serious, you guys? See, this is why I love these cards in this context. So something is stagnant right now. Somebody feels like there's been an unjust, unfair decision, but I see that it is something that's going to be worked through. It definitely has the potential to be worked through here. So we will take a look more in depth into that over on the extended, maybe look into some of the things that can be worked on emotionally while there is the separation that's happening. So if if this is resonating, I would love to see you over on Vimeo. And either way, I wish for you to have a beautiful month, and I will see you next time.